We're about to unbox my Diamondback Overdrive Comp. This is a 2015 model. Before we get to it, I just want to talk about some of the other items I purchased along with the bike. From Nashbar, I picked up a new spare tube. You never know when you're going to have a flat in the field, so I always have a spare tube. Picked up some biking shorts. Yay, finally, padded shorts. Not necessary, but more comfortable. Picked up these Shimano 530s, M530s. Got these at Performance Bike. Pretty nice. New set of biking gloves, and the rest of it are just going to be some components that I already had. Well, I did pick up these glasses from Performance Bike. Pretty nice. Clear, but get the job done. Let's get to the unboxing. Seat post. Seat post. Everything just comes out. Now, this is the whole bike right here, the way it's packaged up, and already it's lighter than my old Trek 4300. Alright, we have a box of components. So it's all zip tied together. I'm going to take it apart, put it together, and I'll show you all the bike. Hey gang, Jamie Aston. So we put the bike together. Let's take a little walkthrough on it and see what to think about it. First impressions. Alright, what we have is the Diamondback Overdrive Comp Edition. The reason why I chose the Comp Edition is because just below the Pro or the Pro Carbon and things like that, this one has everything that I would like on an entry-level mountain bike. And I'm just going to go right into it. The drivetrain is all Shimano Deore, from the cranks to the chain to the brakes. They're Shimano Deore hydraulic brakes, front derailleur, rear derailleur, the shifters, everything is Deore. When you start getting on a lot of entry-level mountain bikes and other bikes, you'll have a Levo, a Sarah, and Sora, all that crap. They'll get the job done, but they misfire. In my experience, they just haven't been really fun to be with. But on my other bike, I have all the Deore components and on the drivetrain, and they just work. So I want to make sure on my mountain bike I had Deore or better. So this one has everything I want. Second thing, the front shock. It is not like it's just not like a what is that brand? Spinner, Suntour. It's not just a default entry-level Suntour shock. This is a Rock Shock. So, but it's entry-level. On the Rock Shock level, it's 100 millimeters of travel. Has lockout, adjustable preload. It's still coil. It's not air, but it gets the job done. One of my initial impressions about this bike compared to my old Trek 4300, which was a 2011 aluminum frame disc brake. The overall package, this one's lighter. It's a lighter weight aluminum frame, 29-inch wheels. I mean, it's great. Now let's go ahead and talk about some of the upgrades that I did do to it. The non-stock options, we have this little bag that I took off from my old bike. I have one of these on I put them on all my bikes because I can put my phone in it, and I store tools right here. We have an Iron Horse water bottle holder. I don't really care for the bottle too much because it kind of leaks, but I love the case. You can pull it from the top, or you can pull it from the right side. You can just slide it out. So if you're riding, you just pull it out. That's pretty cool. It fits the regular size bottles, round bottles as well. So I like it. Main reason why I bought it was on clearance somewhere for like $6. What we have down here, we have the Shimano M530 mountain bike clip-in pedals. And the cool thing about these is that they have a platform on them, so that even if I'm wearing regular shoes, I can still ride the bike. Actually, like I said, the Ori cranks, you know. Cool thing about this crank is, or this bottom bracket, it's a Shimano bottom bracket as well. SM BB52, hollow. You know, I mean, honestly, this bike is bad. I had a guy at work, I had this bike delivered at the office, and there's a guy who said, "You sold your Trek for Diamondback?" And I said, "This one's better than the Trek that I had." And I've pretty much always bought Trek. Here's the deal. Most of these frames are made in China anyhow. Outside of that, they're all using the same components. So you still want to go to a bike shop or somewhere and find a frame that fits you, but outside of that, they're all buying and putting the same components on there. They're all talking about the same components. You know, all frames are a little different in sizes. This one kind of arches up for their Overdrive series, which is, it's kind of neat. The standover, I can't really stand over once we start getting over there, but it's really nice clearance down here. The frame feels real solid. So after I unboxed it, I put the bike together. Putting the bike together was fairly quick, but I took my time, and I made sure I put the hydraulic brake caliper on correctly, evenly. That thing runs butter smooth, no rubbing or anything. The rear, I need to dial it in just a tiny bit. But actually that little rubbing of the pad will wear off anyhow after I continue to break the pads in. You have to break your pads in if you didn't know that. The rear, like I said, just has a little rubbing, but it's pretty much dialed in. Out of the box, the rear derailleur, spot on, it works. The front derailleur needed some fine tuning, and really at the end of the day, after the cables stretch out, you have to ride a little bit, and the cables are going to stretch, and they're going to stretch, and they're going to stretch. So I'm okay with that. If they were perfect, they were going to get out of sync just because about their few weeks of riding. But after the cables continue to stretch out, I'm going to go through here and trim this line right here and do some more adjusting over here. But right now there's no noise. I have it butter smooth, firing back and forth between the two gears. The seat is comfortable, actually. The seat is really comfortable. It was easy put together, you know. If you're not comfortable with that, like I said, I've had a few bikes. I don't like to own anything that I cannot maintain, be it a bike, car, computer. I don't care what it is. If I buy it, I want to know how it works. Whether or not I'm going to do the maintenance on it. So I was not intimidated about putting a bike together out of the box. You know, if you are, you can still buy a bike from Nash Bar or an online dealer like Performance Bike, or you can ship it to your own local bike shop, and they'll put it together for a fee. Then you know that it's put together right. When you buy a bike from a local bike shop, though, they put it together, and then some, like the El Sobrante Cycler, they give you lifetime adjustments. Others, like the Peddler and El Sobrante, they'll do the first year free adjustments, and after that you pay for them. But you know that they're done right. They also have classes to show you how to maintain your bike if you want to do that as well. They'll show you some basics. But of course, like we are right now, YouTube is the perfect place. You know, look up one of the Park Tool videos or somebody, and they'll show you how to do pretty much just about any of the maintenance on the derailleurs or cable management, installation, things like that. So, but out of the box, the only thing I had to put together on this bike, I had to put the pedals on here. It came with stock pedals, which I didn't use, but make sure you put the left and right pedal on correctly. I bought a bike online from Craigslist a couple of years ago, and the guy put them on backwards. I ended up having to replace the crank. I mean, that bike cost me more than it should just because of stupid stuff like that. I had to put the handlebar on. Simple. Take 4 screws off, put the 4 screws in. You have to put the seat stem on. Just put a little grease. I put a little silicone and a little Vaseline. Slid it on there. And the biggest thing, honestly, the biggest thing I had to do was put the brake caliper on the front, adjust it accordingly, and the rear brake caliper was already on, but I'm having to make slight adjustments to that, and then just fine tuning on the derailleur. You have 2 screws, 1 and 2 adjustments, and then on the shifter you have a knob that you can use to tighten or loosen the tension of the cable. And those are just things you have to do in the beginning. After all the cables are stretched, you're going to do just one more adjustment, and then after that you're always, you know, the adjustments will be less frequent, especially depending on how you ride your bike and how often. But you know, I've gone a very long time without having to do much to them at all, especially when you're running with the components like this bike has. So for my first impression of the 2015 Overdrive Comp by Diamondback, this is the best mountain bike I've owned personally. I love it. I love it. I think I'm going to fall in love with it even more. I think this is going to be one I'm going to keep for a very, very long time. The color scheme, when you go into the Diamondback models for 2015, the Comp edition is just gray and yellow. That's what it is. You can't pick out any other colors, and I'm fine with that. This is a nice little color. It's different. But, you know, I have 0 complaints with this bike. I have all confidence in Nash Bar and their customer service, and I've had a great experience. So we'll see you all on the trails, or you'll see me on the trails, and I'll give you an update on what I think about it and how well it's holding up. If you have any questions, comments, stones to throw, you can throw them at me, but don't throw them at my bike. You better not throw them at me either. Doggone it. Take care, y'all.